Hello, and welcome back to our United States 1890 campaign, Waves of Steel. In the last episode, which for you all was yesterday, and for me it was about 5 or 10 minutes ago, we essentially started a lot of rebuilds on our ships because we got some new fire controls. Some of our guns became better, like the 8-inch and 6-inch guns. And we also began construction on the Huron class, which is a very big, much bigger than we would usually build heavy cruiser class that has a lot of 8-inch guns. So we'll see how that works out for us. We don't normally build that big, but we're in the United States. We have money. So let's go ahead and build. Meanwhile, we have tensions high with two prospective enemies. We'd like to go to war with Spain if possible, start snatching up their territories. I'd like to get into the Philippines. That's kind of a biggie. And I'm not super afraid of Britain, even though they have 32 battleships. But we'll see. Let's denounce Spain, even though it risks giving us budget. But if it does put us into a war, that would be good. Not quite. Not quite. If we get into a war, people will stop complaining about the budget, maybe. Nope, let's avoid. All right, let's possibly gain a prestige by making Italy mad. Oh, nice. This will let us lower our budget. We'll do this one. No, we'll do this one. Cool. This will lower our budget. Never mind. But maybe it'll lower the budget anyway. Lots and lots and lots of technologies there. Yes, there we go. We're at war with Spain. Cool. So all their stuff is down here in the Caribbean. So that is where we shall go. How many battleships do they have? Whoops. How many battleships do they have? They have 15. They only have 8 down in the Caribbean right now. So we're going to go ahead and deploy the Wyomings. So we're going to go ahead and move them to the Caribbean. Oh, there it is. We're going to move second battleship division, which is attached to the first. We're going to move first and second cruiser divisions. There we go. We're going to do first and second light cruiser divisions. And first and second destroyer divisions. And we'll send a few corvettes down there as well. Cool. Save the game. And we're going to put, so these are on foreign station. This one is not. This one's active fleet. So we're going to make it into a raider in the Caribbean. Everything else is hopefully moving along here. And this should be fine. We have, oh, hang on. Trade protection. Cool. That gives us 14, so we have a couple of spare. Excellent. Now, hopefully the populace won't complain too much about the budget while we're at war, but we're going to see our budget is like really high right now. Okay. So let's get down to the Caribbean and hope for a battle. There it is. Let's do it. Here we go. Decisive battle. We don't have any of our battleships in here. Well, let's take the fight and see what happens. Yeah, we don't have our battleships. What's going on here? All right, let's, this is going to be really complicated. Okay. We have our ships all mixed up here. Let's, this is the third cruiser division. This is the first cruiser division. So we're going to go ahead and make that AI. So it's going to follow the third division around. We're going to make that AI. And then we'll have light cruisers doing its own thing. Turn off torpedoes. Going to turn off torpedo. Whoops. Want to turn off torpedoes. And turn off torpedoes on the destroyers. These are just gonna. I don't trust these destroyers to not just get walloped. So we might hold them back a little bit in kind of like a reserve and just use them if possible. If there are any ships that are sinking or damaged or slowed down, use them to finish them off because they only have a couple of torpedoes each. All right. So let's get the heavy cruiser heading that way. We'll get the light cruisers heading that way. And I see heavy cruisers so far. I'm gonna put these on 25 knots, just so we don't burn out the engines too fast. Okay, 25 knots. And 25 knots. We do want to get these Huntingtons, or whatever this ship is down here. We have these rebuilt with, let's see here. Seattle's. Yeah, these are, excuse me. These are rebuilt with the better 8-inch guns and the better fire controls. So they should be able to do some damage if they can catch up with the enemy here. But the Spaniards are running away. Let's crank this up to full speed. They're being slowed down by an older, excuse me, they're being slowed down by an older heavy cruiser that's mixed in with them. You just want to get within gun range. How fat? Prince Heinrich class. Oh, did they end up buying German ships? What the heck? How did they end up with a Prince Heinrich? I wonder if Germany sold them a ship. Because I don't think they ever went to war. It's not like they captured it. Or I don't know if capturing is even a thing, but there we go. The first engagement there. First shots out. Let's try to get our light cruisers into the action if we can. Okay, we're okay for now. Going to angle a little bit here to bring more of our guns to bear. There's the first hit with a 6-inch shell. We're straddling the target with the 8-inch guns, which is encouraging. What's the range on our torpedoes? Still very short range. We haven't really worked on torpedo technology at all for the United States. I tend to think of the United States as being more like a gun nation than a torpedo. Scoring some 6-inch hits. Their destroyers are maneuvering, but there's no way they're going to have range to fire any torpedoes at us. What about, what's going on back here? These are, you know what, we're going to go ahead and put them on squad max. We'll speed them up and try and get them involved in the battle down here. Because they're all like lagging behind because they're following the Huntington around, and that one's one of our older heavy cruisers. Yep, we're going to detach this light cruiser that's falling behind for some reason and just send it, put it on cruise and send it home. You can see the heavy cruisers are immediately starting to catch up. Yes, we're going to detach the Huntington, and it'll just linger in the area. I mean, it still has guns, so we can still use it. It's going, 20 knots isn't horrible. All right, we are drifting out of gun range here. Looks like the Regina Christiana. It looks like it might be slowing down a little bit. All right, we have the classic double envelopment that we really like to do. See if we can't get a little bit close here. And we're going to go down to squad max -2 in order to stabilize our guns a little bit. And here come the destroyers. We're just going to maneuver. It would be really nice if we could score some hits here. Let's send in the... Are these mobile class or... Yeah, these are mobiles. Squad max. Let's send these in and see if we can't score some... Oh, nice. We just scored an 8-inch hit on one of the Prince Heinrich. Let's get our destroyers sort of turned back around here. They're so delicate. That's the problem. Like if they get near the enemy and they start taking any kind of hits, they're just in so much trouble. Let's use our light cruisers here to cut off the Prince Heinrich if we can. Topeka just took a nasty hit to the engine, or engine room. What if we like angle in like this? I wonder if we can chase them away from their port, away from Havana, or Habana. Okay. We can turn in like this. We're lighting them up with 6-inch guns. Nice. Looks like it's kind of dead in the water here. So we're going to go to the rearmost cruiser and work our way back. We'll fire off a couple of torps. They all missed. Let's bring in some destroyers, I guess. And some light cruisers this way. All right, they are retreating into port. There we go. There we go. I was going to say, we are, specialized in torpedoes for our doctrine. This would be pretty sweet if we could actually score a hit on a target that's not even moving. There it goes, it's down. All right, let's see if we can't gun this thing down. And let's take this off of AI control and bring it over to help. And we'll do the same here. Looking pretty good. The Regina Christina is a little bit dead in the water. So let's bring down a destroyer and another destroyer to try and help finish it off because we don't really have torpedoes on these heavy cruisers as far as I know. It's, for some reason, our cruiser division, maybe I think we lost control of it there. Lost signals. Cool. And we'll do another one into him with the Huntington. Oh, come on. With the Huntington. That's kind of annoying. If you click anywhere except on this, you get an error. I don't like that. Yeah, like if I do that right there, yeah. Hey, we're done. All right, so we took light damage to 2 of our heavy cruisers. We took light damage to 4 of our light cruisers. We sank 3 heavy cruisers. Excellent. Were those very good? No, don't know. It's hard to say. Prince Heinrich class. 6,400 tons, 6,900 tons. So pretty, standard. So we're going to exit the battle. We gain a prestige. We're going to call that the Battle of Key West. And we just sank something with a rating. Uh-oh, we're losing relations with Germany. That's fine. We could still very well end up in a war with Britain and Russia and Germany because of all the alliances. Cool. Let's take a look at our situation here. The Caribbean, we're gonna put him on raiding status because we don't want him actually, you know, involved. Make him a raider as well, North American East Coast. But we're gonna move him down to the Caribbean. Alrighty. He's a raider. These are foreign station. All right, cool. So hopefully we won't get any more of these like odds and ends heavy cruisers mixed in. Yeah, they hopefully won't get mixed into the battle lines anymore. All right, let's take a look at the almanac. For Spain, they're down to 11 heavy cruisers. Hey, that might be a way for us to get ahead in this whole cruiser race thing. Just think the enemy cruisers. We won't be the smallest heavy cruiser nation anymore if we can sink theirs. All right, we got some battleships. These are our good ones. These are the Wyomings. So these things should smack. They are using -1 quality guns, but they do have the newest fire control. So let's push forward here. We've got our heavy cruisers out scouting for us. We're going to put those into a line ahead formation. Go down to max -2, and we're going to cut south because that's the way the enemy is moving. These will go to AI control. These will go to AI control. We're going to put our Wyomings on full speed. Turn off the torpedoes. Turn off torpedoes and turn off torpedoes. And then these are going to go into a normal formation. Get some speed going. We'll get these up to 20 knots. 20 knots. And we'll do 20 and 20. Try and conserve our engines a little bit on these smaller ships that we'll end up having to do some chasing with later on. The battleships, they'll stay at max speed for now, just to get the battle engaged. All right. Doing some scouting, just figuring out where the enemy's at. Looks like their battleship line is down here. They got some destroyers down here. They got some destroyers and maybe some light cruisers or something here in the middle. So we're going to cut across, and our heavy cruisers formation just broke up for some reason. 20 knots and 20 knots. Our destroyers cut through the middle here, I suppose, along with some light cruisers. And these are going to support. We want those to, they can't support, can they? We're going to go core onto 2nd Battle Division. So they'll hopefully follow the battle line there. There we go. Yeah, heavy cruisers don't have the support role yet. That's something I think you work on later. And hopefully these heavy cruisers here can score some hits on the enemy screens. Cut south. The goal here is just to catch up to their battleships. We're going 18 knots, they're going 16. Cut south again. We're going to cut across here. Maybe engage the screens while our battleships try to catch up with theirs. There we go. It looks like we're getting our first shots off. I think we got 12-inch guns on these. We do. They're not going to be accurate, but if they can hit, they will do some damage depending on if they hit the actual hull of the ship and not just like the superstructure. Oh, wow, they're straddling us. All right, we're going to nose in a little bit. We're going to go down to max -2. And our heavy cruisers, they're there. They ran off there for a minute. Let's bring these light cruisers down. Okay. So we go down to max -2 on the battleship line so that they improve their accuracy. There we go. We score 12-inch and 7-inch hits. Our Wyomings are built for the broadside if we can catch up with them. So let's actually increase the squad max to 18 again. Try and get a little bit more parallel so we can bring our 7-inch broadsides to bear. Right, we're scoring some hits. Destroyers, you had better turn. There's another 12-inch hit. There we go. We're going to keep going 18 knots for as long as we can until at least we get the Minnesota, our rearmost ship, lined up here. And we will maneuver a little bit because we're taking pretty steady hits now. And now we go down to max -2 for the accuracy buff, I guess. There we go. Now, hopefully we can start scoring some good hits here. Yeah, we're scoring 7-inch hits, 12-inch, 6-inch, 11-inch armor on that one, 10-inch, 10-inch. Yeah, so our 7-inch guns might not be that great against these. But I mean, if we pummel them enough, we can set them on fire. we can break things, like break guns, like break secondaries and stuff. Huh, light cruisers. I wonder if now is the time to like dart ahead and start breaking up their formation. Yep, we have a lot of signaling errors in this early era. Scored a 12-inch hit. That's really what we want to see is the 12-inch hits, but 7 inch is fine too. It will get the job done. All right, starting to run low on ammo. And our destroyers can't push in because they have screens around here. I wanted to like zip the destroyers like around this way and try and like force them to, because the battleships will always turn away from your light ships essentially for the risk of torpedoes. I was hoping I could push them closer into my battle line. All right, what do we got here? Let's go to Squad Max and get our heavy cruisers down here to help push these screens away. All right, how's the New Mexico looking? It looks like it was taking the most amount of hits out of. Oh, it's fine. It's just running low on ammo. That's the problem. This has been a nice line battle so far. Actually, let's zip our destroyers up here, and then we're going to cut across. And we're going to aim our heavy cruisers down this way and cut across with destroyers. These light cruisers don't want to take directions very well. We are running low on ammo. Looks like we've scored a bunch of hits on people. All right, let's go down to max -2. Okay, we're already there. Yeah, our main guns might be running out, but our 7-inch guns should still be okay for a while. This is the part where hopefully we can get our destroyers in the backside here and chase the battleships into our own battleship line. Here we go on our little attack run. Get ready to start losing some destroyers. There it goes. As we take hits. Well, the Smith, maybe it can still fire a torpedo off. It cannot. Oh, there's something at least. Okay. There we go. We're breaking their lineup. We're losing destroyers to do it, but like it's a sacrifice in order to kill battleships essentially. We have destroyers in the backside here as well, but they have too many screens in the south. Okay, no solution. All right, fire torpedo. Yes. Yes. All right, we don't want to get too close to their battleships. Like, we don't want to get too close because they tend to carry torpedoes of their own. All right, these destroyers are empty. Get them out of there. And they've done their job of breaking up the formation. So, take a look at our New Mexico. The New Mexico is damaged. So what we can do is we can detach it and start moving it back this way to the west. We're going to turn around all the other ships. Not a big fan of our light cruisers dueling with all these screens. All right, these destroyers are empty. Try to put these on 20 knots and just get them out of there. Cool. So we managed to. Oh, nice. That was over here. It took a hit from the Springfield, I guess. 6-inch guns. Excellent. Not sure if that was a heavy cruiser or a light cruiser, but either way, one less cruiser to cause us problems. Let's cut these destroyers up this way. And we'll use this Stuart, the single destroyer, to do a torpedo run on that battleship there. I'm sure it's sinking, but you do want to confirm your kills. All right, let's send these destroyers up to Miami and the New Mexico as well. Okay. All right, we are herding these battleships into the position where we want them to be, where we just get them surrounded. Let's slow down the Stuart to 20 knots and fire torpedo 1. Hits. And fire torpedo 2. And hit or miss, it's gone back to Miami because it's empty. Okay. Oh, it got hit. Cool. Oh, hang on. I got distracted and letting their battleships get away here. Let's bring these destroyers back. All right, we have another possibly crippled battleship here. So let's fire 1, 2, 3, and hopefully at least one of those will hit. Meanwhile, we can catch up with this other one. All right, we scored 1 hit with the torpedo. That'll do. These don't have any torpedoes on them because they are our heavy cruisers. And our main goal is here, just don't let these battleships get away. So here we go. Number 1, number 2, number 3. And this is a moving target, so it's less likely to score any hits. And we did not. So we're going to turn together so that McDonnell can get its broadside into play. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing again. Friendly ship in the way. Okay, well, let's turn off turn together. We do need to catch up with this battleship over here, but we have light cruisers for that because it's still like a moving target. It's still like, alive and it can fight back. And the light cruisers can maybe take a hit. Although we may have just lost him in the dark, but we'll see. There he is. Okay. Back to line ahead. We're going to turn together here. and hopefully put one last torpedo into this guy. Oh, geez, that's annoying. There we go. Cool. All right, we're gonna go back down to 20 knots and send them to Miami or Miami. Yeah. Going to Miami. Fire torpedo at this unidentified ship. We cannot do that yet. There's one. What the heck's going on here? Friendly ship, get out of the way. Who is that? The Wilmington. Oh my gosh, that's annoying. It would be cool to get our heavy cruisers in amongst their cruisers and just like do some work, but not in the dark. Probably not in the dark. All right, there we go. And we also have the Pasadena, which is in this group. Like our light cruisers are really mixed up right now. They're not maintaining a line ahead formation. Okay. We'll give them some of that. And the Mobile, I think. There we go. Cool. All right, we're gonna go to cruise and head home. We're gonna go to cruise and head home, and we're gonna head home. Just, we've done what we needed to do here. Hopefully, that's a nice decisive victory. I don't think we did lose some destroyers. All right, excellent. Nice engagement. Very nice battle. Great way to open up a war. Like, the heavy cruiser battle was good too, but so we lost 3 destroyers, which was expected. Sometimes you have to give up your just like your little cheap destroyers in order to position the enemy that you can actually get them. Took some light damage other than that, and we sank 4 battleships and a heavy cruiser. So we're going to exit the battle. We're going to get even more accuracy improvements. Hey, stop spying on us there, Buster. Cool. Oh, nice. We're doing some cool. All right, save the game. Let's send our subs. Let's send like almost all of them down to the Caribbean. There we go. They'll be able to do some raiding down there for next time. All right, that was a good battle. Let's check the almanac. They are down to 11 battleships now, so they only outnumber us by 1. But our battleships seem to be heavier because we have less, but we still have more actual tonnage than they do. Heavy cruisers still the same. They still have 10. They have no light cruisers at all. We seem to be pretty heavily invested in light cruisers along with Britain, but no one else seems to care that much about them. And then they have a bunch of destroyers, and we don't have very many at all. And the destroyers actually turned out to be kind of useful. So you know what? We'll go ahead and build another round of 5 of those. And we're not afraid to have a deficit here because we do want to get our treasury down. Cool. The Hurons will not, they won't see service in this war, but they'll probably see service in the next one. All right, everybody, we're at 40 minutes. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you next time and sail safe out there.